it's me, Jen, your pudgy picker, in my office, but today is not a haul. It is a video on how to go and what to know before you go to Goodwill bins. I know not a lot of you have them. If you're not even sure if there's one around you, you just type in Google and type in Goodwill outlet near me. You may be surprised. There may be one closer by than you think. Or if you're traveling or visiting other people, you can check and see if they have any around them. So once you find one and you think you're ready to go, I want you to plan ahead and know what to do. So first thing is, what should I bring with me? Some Goodwill bins have bags and others do not. Mine, where I go, that's very close to my house, does not. So I bring my own grocery type bags. I have a bag that I have these bags folded up in, and I bring that with me whenever I go to regular thrifting or if I go to the Goodwill bins. So another thing that you should bring that you don't normally bring to a Goodwill is gloves. Now gloves, I think, are very important. Even today when I was digging around in the bins, there was broken light bulbs, there was like a serrated knife. So it's just a matter of safety. If you're digging around in there, you don't want to get a hold of something that's going to cut you. Yes, I have been cut before. So I have my bag of bags, I have my gloves in there, and I usually just have it in my car. So whenever I have time to go, I just grab it and go. Now the gloves that you need are going to be, I think I have the ones that are like knit, but they look like they were like dipped, so they're rubber, rubberized. Anything where you're not going to reach in and pick something up or get cut by glass. It doesn't need to be super bulky, thick, fancy. You can get them pretty cheap and carry those with you. It's also pretty dirty. If you ever dig around in the bins and you get home and your hands are gross, it's like, I'd rather not do that. So definitely gloves. I usually have a little carton of AA batteries that I carry in that for when I'm regular thrifting. So if I come across something, a clock or something that needs batteries, they're usually AA's. I have it in there so I'm able to check and know right away. Because anything you buy at the Goodwill bins is final. You're not going to be able to return it, or you don't like it, or it doesn't work. So those are things you really need to figure out before you purchase them. So that's what you should bring with you. Now, again, if you're going to be looking things up on your phone, that's fine. You need to make sure that your phone is in a place where it's not going to fall into the bins. I have come across a phone more than once, and I have heard them announce that if you see a phone, let them know. So if you have it in a pocket or something and you're leaning over the bins, it's very easy for it to fall out and fall into the bins. Not a good thing, especially when they're switching them out and you don't realize you got a big problem. Also, you should wear clothes that are comfy and that you don't mind if they get a little dirty. You don't want to wear anything that could get snagged on anything. So I usually just have my old trusty tie-dye shirt on, something comfy too. You're going to be moving around and stretching and looking and standing and sitting. So you really want to make sure that you're wearing something that's comfortable. To go along with that, make sure you have comfortable shoes on. You're going to be on your feet a lot. Just throw on some tennis shoes. You want to be comfortable when you're going to be there. Again, don't bring any valuables unless you have a pocket or some way that you can secure them. Usually what I do is my little bag that has my folded up bags. I have my gloves, my batteries, my credit card, my keys, and my phone. And I have them in that bag. And if I need to go to the bathroom or something, you just grab that bag and I can leave my cart and not worry about something getting picked off of it. What else? I usually I have like a sweater or something I wear because when you get there, it's kind of chilly. Some of them, I don't know if they just don't heat them well. And then if once you get moving and stuff, after I've been there about a half an hour, I'm taking my sweater off. What else? Pick your time that you want to go. Weekends are much busier. than during the day. Afternoons tend to be busier than mornings. So pick a day and time that you're able to go and that there won't be maybe as many people as there are normally there when it's the weekend. It can get pretty crazy. Let's see. Give yourself at least 2 hours or so you have time to dig around. I don't know what it is, but every time I go, I'm basically there about 2 hours. And it's funny because you're there and you're starting to kind of wind down, or okay, I think I'm getting close to being done, and then they announce the table rotation and you're like, wait, I'll wait one more time. So usually about 2 hours. I left today at 1 and I got back just about a couple minutes after 3. So there you go. What else? And if you're there for 2 hours, they change the tables every 30 minutes. So you'll get through a couple of rotations just so you can see kind of how it goes and what to expect. So a lay of the land. You walk in and you look around and it totally doesn't look anything like a regular Goodwill store. You're going to find very large, not too deep blue bins with wheels on them that have everything you can imagine, and some things you probably wouldn't want to imagine. So these items, some of them are priced. They had been in a store at one time. The store pulled them because they weren't selling, and then they end up in the bins. But a lot of the items, I think they just donate, and it ends up just being, we have enough of that now, just ship it over to the outlets. So I would say probably 80% of what you find, 75 to 80%, is not priced at all. Now, the bins are not sorted out as much as, of course, a store would be, but they do have different types of bins. They have textiles in one, which is clothes, towels, bedding, sheets, blankets, all that kind of stuff is considered textiles. They also have one that has all shoes in it. They have media. The one that I was at today, in one it just had books, and then the other one had DVDs, VHS tapes, and CDs, all kinds of things like that. So that is the books and media. Clothes, of course, blankets, towels, other soft goods. So everything else is kind of considered a hard good. So hard goods, which is everything else, you can find anything from appliances, holiday decorations, because I think a lot of the regular stores kind of pull holiday stuff, and it does end up. So if you just went through Christmas, a month later, guess what you're going to find? Lots of Christmas. So today I was finding some Christmas and some Easter. So you never know what you're going to find. Of course, you also find kitchen, dishes, decorative items, framed art. They even have some furniture against the wall. Tables, chairs, there was a desk. So those larger items are usually against a wall. They will also have big bins or big crates, like, very deep. Mine usually has a few with a lot of glassware in it, which is a major pain to dig around in. But either way, I mean, it's still there. And they don't change those out. It's just the rolling bins that get changed. Glassware is usually, they'll put it in a box and then put the boxes all in the bin. So when they bring a whole bin out, it's mostly all glassware. They'll do that sometimes. What else? You want to check the signs when you first get there. All Goodwill outlets are different. They charge different prices for different things. But again, this is a weigh and pay situation. So I would say, and I took a picture of mine before I left the store, just to give you an idea. So it's $1.79 a pound for what they call wares, textiles, shoes, and accessories. Books and media are 99 cents each. If you get a lot of that, they might cut you a break on it. And then 79 cents a pound, which is the cheapest, is electronics, glass, dishes, anything breakable. And they also have what they call bulk rates. So if you buy a lot of something, the price goes down a little bit. Not a lot, But just as an example, let's say you find wares, textiles, shoes, and accessories, and you have more than 25 pounds, it goes to $1.69. It's not a lot, but hey, it adds up. Also, electronics, 10 pounds or more, it goes to 69 cents a pound. And then books and media basically stay the same. So yeah, so now that we got that all sorted out, you go in, you kind of see where everything's laid out. And yeah, so check the signage because each one is different. Some will, I know I've been to some Goodwill's outlets that have books and they charge you like 50 cents an inch. So you stack up all your books, they measure it, and that's how much it is. So I've seen that done before. So there is a slight variation from place to place, exactly what they offer. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab a cart and you're going to start digging. So let me give you some hints and tips on, or actually let's go to the changing of the tables. So every half an hour they'll make an announcement overhead. Please, everyone, move to the front of the store for a bins change. So that means whatever you're doing, finish up what you're doing, you go to the front of the store, and then they will open up big doors, and then they go out and they start bringing back bins and then taking out bins. Now, mine usually does, they have very long, like maybe 6 or 7, bins lined up. And then next to it, they have one of hard goods. So they usually take 2 of those at a time. So they'll take the row of hard goods and the row of textiles and then replace those so that they just keep moving around the store and then they go back to the beginning. So that's how they rotate. So once you get there, if you want, you could even say to someone, hey, which bins did they just replace? And then you kind of get an idea of which ones are going to go next. You better go look at those first or you're going to miss them. So they make that announcement, you move to the front, and then they change out, they change everything out. Now, you can imagine when they got it all done, they'll walk away and they say, go. People start literally running. So be ready, because once they say that, you start going. Now, just, you can be in a rush, but don't run anybody over with your cart. I know I got bumped into today. It wasn't a hard bump, but still, people are like focused on where they want to go. So, yeah, be careful you don't get run over. Some people can be rude in getting there. Like, they'll come up and then they'll start, just grabbing tons of stuff and not letting anybody next to them. So you don't have to be rude, but you can be, don't shrink back from scooching in there and digging. If there's somebody with their cart there, you can say, excuse me, can I step up there? And they'll usually move their cart. Sometimes the carts there's just so many carts. There are people who have like a bag, like a newspaper guy, and they just leave their cart in one area, and then they have this bag that they put things in, so they're not crowding up the room. The one I've gone to for a while, since it opened a few months ago, they're pretty nice. So, if you say, excuse me, people say, oh, I'm sorry. The ones down in Akron and Canton, I've had people be very rude to me. So, again, you get the people who literally, I've seen some of the people there, anytime I go, they're always there. So, I don't know if they just feel like, well, this is my stuff or whatever, but you can be kind and, put yourself out there a little bit. This is where you want to, grab items that you think you're interested in. Don't stand there at the bins they just brought out and look at it. No, if it looks cool, you think it's interesting, put it in your basket. Keep going. Because if you pull one item and you're standing there staring at it, everybody else is digging and grabbing. So you might miss something. So if it looks interesting, stick it in your cart. You're going to have time later to sort it out and look over it really well, since you can't return things. Decide whether you want to get it or not. I would say if I just do the grab stuff, I put probably 40% of that stuff back. It's just the way it is. So if you take your time, you're going to miss stuff. Once the frenzy is over, you can go to another aisle. You can, go and dig at your leisure. Usually what I do is when I first get there, I walk through and I go through the bins that I want to. I don't really buy clothes. I don't dig for clothes there. There are a lot of people that's the only thing they buy. So, once I kind of get there and I go through everything and then maybe through one rotation, then if I get that little lull, I'll go find a little seat because they have benches and other things. And I'll sit down and I'll sort through what I'm keeping and what I want to put back. So you have plenty of time for that. And then, they usually have a bathroom. I know mine has candy and other stuff. So they want to keep you there for a little while. It makes sense. So let me give you some hints and tips. So again, don't spend a lot of time examining items. You see it, you like it, put it in the cart, sort through it later. Also, too, if you pick up something real quick and you throw it in your keep bag, I know sometimes I've gotten things home and I was like, oh, I didn't notice this had an issue or whatever. So take that time, even if it's something you think you definitely want, look through it, make sure everything is what you want, that you're going to buy it. What I do is when I go through and I sort things, I open up a bag and I put it in my cart, and then I just start tossing everything that isn't glass or electronics. I don't buy that many electronics. I do buy some glass. I think today I got like 3 pieces of glass. Yeah, I got 3 things. Everything else was just wares, I guess you could say. If you come across a really, really heavy item, and you're like, oh, this is going to be so expensive, even if I buy it by the pound, you can go up to an employee and say, wow, this is really heavy. Is there a way I could get just a price on it? And at mine, anyway, they always do it. They're like, just do $2 or $4 or whatever. Because you'll see some things and you may say, oh, well, if that's by the pound, I'm not going to pick it up because it'll be too much money. So with this, you'll be able to get a certain price. Usually, now that I know they do it, I kind of wait until I get up there, and then I'll start to weigh the stuff, and I'll say, oh, I have this item, and then she'll throw a price at you, and she'll type it in. It's funny because when I first started going, I would see a bowling ball, and I'm like, oh my God, bowling ball's got to be super expensive. If it's, 15 pounds and you're paying, $1.69 a pound or 79, that's expensive. The rules here in the bins is different than regular stores. Regular stores, you can't open things. You're not supposed to. You can't open something up and take something out of it. It's a different story at the bins. If you come across any item that you think you're interested in, if it's a box and you open it, it's got maybe 10 items or something in it, you only want 1 or 2, take them, put the rest back. If you have something and you don't really want the box it came in, take it out of the box, put the box back in the bin. Remember, you're paying by the pound, so you don't really want to have any extra stuff that you're just going to take home and throw away. You can open up games and take what you want. If you find a lamp and the lampshade's all beat up, take the lampshade off. You don't have to buy that. I know when you first go and you start doing this, it feels kind of wrong, like, ooh, I shouldn't be opening these boxes. It's fine. It's a different world at the Goodwill bins. So if you're paying by weight, you can take things out of their boxes. You can take some, take it all. It's your choice. If you have to go to the bathroom, make sure you take your bag that has your personal items in it. If you are going to leave your cart, let's say that you are just finding all kinds of good stuff and you fill up a cart, you could take that cart and go park it against a wall, go get a blanket or a towel or something and lay over the cart. That means, hey, this is my stuff. Don't nobody dig, don't nobody claim it or put it back. It's my stuff. So that if you ever go in and you see that, now you know. That is an indication to everybody else that it's what your stuff is and it's off limits. It belongs to someone. So like I said, if you go to the bathroom or you go to get another cart or whatever, cover your cart up. Let me see, what else did I have here? And people, sometimes people will go through your cart at a thrift store. If they go by and they don't see anybody buy it, they'll take stuff out. That just doesn't happen at the bins. As long as you got it covered and if people understand, that it's yours, They won't mess with it. Let me see. So you've had fun, you've dug through, you've picked out all kinds of goodies that you cannot possibly live without. So now we are ready for checkout. This is where having your items sorted will make it much easier for you and the person running the register. It'll be so much easier. So I usually have a bag with all my wares in it, and then I keep my my breakables or glass things separate. So when you go up, there's two, usually if there's two registers, there's two huge scales. Now if you have a ton of stuff and it's in one category in your cart, you can literally put your cart up on the scale, and then they take away, I think it's 41 pounds for the weight of the cart, and then that's how they do it. If you go up and you only have a few things, or me, I have it already in a bag, they have one of those little, two handle baskets sitting on another small scale, so you can set your items in there. She'll tell you when to move them. You take them out, you can put your glassware in, they'll weigh that. So it makes it much simpler. I was in line and the lady, I had never been there, and she's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? So, I mean, if you need to ask questions or you don't understand, you can ask a fellow shopper or the people that work there, and you can figure out how you need to organize it. But once you kind of see the sign and you know what the categories are, that's what you want to do it by. You want to keep it according to category. So doing that will make it much, much easier. Again, if the cart's full, they'll weigh the whole cart. It's kind of cool. I usually have a few breakables that can be weighed on the small scale, so it's nice. You either have a lot of stuff or a little stuff or somewhere in between. They got you covered. Now this is the section I have in my notes that says, don't be that person. There is etiquette when you go to the thrift store, no matter what kind of thrift store you go to. And at the bins, it might be a little bit different. So don't look at other people's carts. People can be pretty friendly, but if you do that, you're going to have a problem on your hands. Imagine if you spend 2 hours there digging and sorting and looking at your stuff, and then somebody comes along and cherry picks it. It's not a good thing. Don't be unkind to employees and customers. I mean, I get it. If somebody's rude, you can say, hey, I'm just here to shop. I'm just, take a deep breath. I've had a few people bow up on me occasionally, but not very often. Also the employees. Go in, I'm this way anyway, but I come in, I'm like, hey, how you doing today? Blah, blah, blah. And if you're kind, then that kindness will come back to you. So if you go in and you're grumpy to the employees and you're, making a mess and doing other stuff, and then you go up and you want a good price on something, don't hold your breath. So they have a little bit of discretion, and being kind, you should be that way anyway, but especially when you know it's going to help you out with your prices. If a customer sees you looking for certain items and it's not something they want, if they're digging in the same bin, I've done it and other people have done it. They see you picking up certain items, and if they see it, they'll start tossing it over to you. So there is a little bit of this camaraderie and helping you out. I was in a couple weeks ago and looking through the bins, and I saw a whole bunch of these. They were cheaply made, but they were still in the plastic wrap of dream catchers, and there was literally like 30 of them there. So they were scattered throughout the bin. So this one lady was kind of grabbing them, and I was just picking them up as I was digging, and then I handed them to her. So, a little bit of niceness goes a long way. Or if you happen to have something that's missing something, you could even say to the people around you, hey, if anybody sees the other one of these, could you please let me know? I mean, you could even do that. Don't make a mess. There's people that walk around when they have the little pinchies on the long pole and they're picking up and putting stuff back in the bins. Don't make a mess. It's just rude. I always say your mother doesn't work here, clean up after yourself. But even if your mother did work at the Goodwill bins, it's not her job to clean up after you or anyone else. What else? Don't push and shove. I know if you see something and you're like, wow, and you really want to get to it, there's nothing there that is worth being rude or pushing anybody. Just my opinion. And plus you're going to have a better time. You're just going to have more fun if you go in there with a good attitude and you want to find good stuff and you're friendly. It makes the trip a lot more pleasant. And the best advice I can give you is just have fun. You got to be in the mood to dig. You know, sometimes you go even to the thrift store and there's a bin of stuff and you're like, oh, I don't feel like digging. You have to be in a digging kind of mood to go to the bins. There's days where I'm like, I have a little bit of time. I just don't feel like it. Don't go, because then it's not fun, and then you're just not going to be there long, and you may not find anything because you're just kind of in a poopy attitude. So if you're in the mood to dig, that's when you should go. So I think that's all that I have. If you guys have any questions or you have any comments about if you've been in any bins, if you enjoy them, I know people have been and they're like, ugh, rather not. I'm a reseller, so I think I find a lot more things that I can pick up and resell or reuse, more so than the average person who's like, oh, I just need some clothes and maybe some dishes or something. Then, you know, maybe it is better to just go to the regular store where everything's organized and you can just look, pick it up, and pay for it. So, you know, I mean, I go looking for so many other things. I know there's several people there that are resellers, and they know exactly what they're looking for. So they go in and they are just laser focused on what they have to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Also, if you, I've been asking people recently in my videos if you could share them on social media, or if there's anybody that you think would be interested, or if you know cousin Lois, who lives over in Georgia, has one real close by and she's never been, you might want to share my videos so that she knows what to do. And then when you go visit her, you can go too. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know I have some new subscribers. Hello. I hope you appreciate the content. If there's any questions you have after hearing this information, if I missed something, leave a comment down below. If there's a few, I'll answer them. If there's more than a few, I might do a follow-up video. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and I will see you guys next time. And until then, happy picking. Bye.